Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are scooping into one of the most beloved treats on the planet, ice cream. But here's the thing, underneath that sweet, creamy goodness, there's a fascinating story of ancient history, culinary chemistry, and some seriously cool science. Okay, let's dive right in.
You find these quotes in the most interesting places. This one, from an industry textbook of all places, really sets the stage. It speaks to this incredible journey of innovation that started centuries ago and, believe me, is still going strong today.
And that's because our love for frozen desserts? It's not new, at all. It's a craving that goes back thousands of years. The real challenge, as we're about to see, wasn't just about making something cold. It was about making it creamy.
Just look at this timeline. It is wild. We're talking Alexander the Great enjoying snow mixed with honey and fruit. Then you jump forward to Marco Polo supposedly bringing back milk-based recipes from China. It even lands in America as a treat for the super rich. But here's the kicker. For most of human history, these were basically water ices. The rich, creamy, scoopable ice cream we know and love, that's a surprisingly recent invention.
So that gets us to the big culinary puzzle, right? What is the secret? How do you transform a simple frozen liquid into that smooth, amazing texture we all crave? Well, the answer? It all comes down to controlling the ice.
So the secret is kind of hiding in plain sight right here in the official definition. See, it's not just about freezing something. The two magic words are agitation and air. You have to constantly churn and move the mix while it freezes to keep the ice crystals super tiny. And you have to whip air into it. That's the whole game.
Okay, so to get that perfect balance, every single ice cream recipe is built on 3 fundamental pillars, and each one has a really important job to do in solving that texture puzzle.
First up, we've got our most important pillar, the one that gives us that luxurious, creamy feeling. It makes up about this much of a typical mix.
And that 12%? That's milk fat. This is what gives ice cream its signature rich, mellow flavor. It contributes massively to that smooth feeling in your mouth. Honestly, it's the ingredient that makes ice cream feel so decadent.
Next, to give the ice cream some structure, some real body, we need about 11% of this stuff.
These are what we call milk solids not fat, or MSNF for short. You can think of these as the proteins and the lactose from the milk. They're basically the backbone of the ice cream, giving it substance so it's not all weak and watery.
And our final core pillar? This one's crucial for both taste and texture, and it usually makes up about 15% of the mix.
Sweeteners. Now, obviously they make it taste sweet, but they have this secret scientific superpower. They actually lower the freezing point of the entire mix, and this is absolutely essential. Without it, all the water would just freeze into a solid block, and you'd have something you couldn't even scoop, let alone sell.
Okay, so you've got your 3 pillars. You're good to go, right? Well, not so fast. There's a common enemy that every ice cream maker faces. Those big, crunchy ice crystals. To fight them, they deploy 2 secret weapons.
Really think about it. What is it that keeps your tub of ice cream smooth, even after it's been sitting in your freezer for a week? How does it survive that little temperature change every single time you open the freezer door?
The answer comes from these 2 unsung heroes. On one side, you've got stabilizers. Think of them as the water managers. They literally grab onto any free water molecules and hold them tight, stopping them from ganging up and forming those big, gritty ice crystals. On the other side, you've got emulsifiers, the fat managers. Their job is to make sure all the milk fat is spread out perfectly evenly, which helps with whipping in air and gives you that super smooth, dry finish.
All right, so we've got our balance formula, we've got our secret weapons. The final piece of the puzzle is the actual manufacturing process, how we turn this carefully designed liquid into the frozen treat we all know and love.
And this whole process is a really precise sequence. First, everything's blended and pasteurized to make it safe. Next, it's homogenized. That's when the mix is blasted through a tiny opening to smash the fat into tiny little particles for ultimate smoothness. Then, it's aged. This is a crucial resting period where the mix cools down and the stabilizers get to work. After that comes the magic step, freezing and aerating. The mix is frozen super fast while air is whipped in. Finally, it's packaged and sent to a deep freeze for hardening, which sets that perfect final texture.
So after all of that science, what are we actually eating? Well, if you look at a scoop by volume, the single biggest ingredient might totally surprise you. It's air. Yep, the air that gets whipped in, which is called overrun, can make up as much as half of the product you're eating. It's absolutely essential for that light, scoopable texture.
And here's the really cool part. Once you master this basic formula, this dance between fat, solids, sugar, and air, you can start playing with the ratios, and that unlocks an entire universe of different frozen desserts.
You can see the difference right here. It's all about tweaking those dials. Keep the milk fat high, at least 10%, and you've got ice cream. Drop it way down to just 1 or 2% and add some more acid for tartness, and now you've got a refreshing sherbet. Take the dairy out completely, now you have a water ice. The basic science is the same, but the results are deliciously different.
So the next time you're enjoying a scoop, just think about what's really going on in that bowl. It's not just some milk and sugar. It's a complex, three-phase system of liquid, solid, and gas. It's a carefully constructed foam, where every single ingredient is playing a scientific role to deliver that one perfect creamy bite. A simple pleasure, born from some seriously cool science.